Tippy time, my damies, Top Cat here and welcome back to the channel. With those exotic class items, we've got some crazy combos to boost up our super damage and uptime. But did the Warlock and Titans get the good end of the stick, as the Hunters already had the Star Eater scales? So today we are going to be looking at power, uptime and integration. There will be dim links in the description and feel free to drop a comment any point down below. Affinities are segmented in the timeline if you're looking for a specific type. Our Strand super does 624k, but it does so over 11 seconds. With our Star Eater scales, we can push that over 1,000,000. It's got that whip attack for crowd control, but it's the light attack that does that damage. If you triple stack heavy handed mods, we can actually make orbs of power for ourselves as well as our allies. We can't utilize these whilst we're actually in our super, but after we're done though, we can pick these up and get some toys like woven mail from Facet of Purpose. I'm going to recommend you get Spirit of Galanor. This will top up 50% of your super back after you're finished. Traditionally it was for Blade Brush, now it's for all of toys. The Strand super is generally best suited for crowd control, so I'm going to advise against running it with Spirit of Star Eater. In this Fallen Saber GM, we've got 5 combat zones, and I would prefer to have a super per room versus 3 and a bit. I would pair it with the Spirit of Lies handshakes, as this is a roamer and we have to get in all deep like. So once that super is complete, we need to fight our way out. This is no doubt paired best with a shoddy and some hands-on mods. This way we can get that super back in around 20 odd seconds. Now a good roamer still needs to contend with champions. Prismatic does not have that suspension dive that the general Strand does, but we do have the slow dodge. With 2 of these next to an unstopped champ, we can freeze them and then take him down. We can also use that Arc Ascension aspect to jolt our overloads whilst in our super. This aspect can also be used like an elevator to get ourselves up into those places our grapple can't reach, as we have infinite dodges whilst we're in our super. This could be used to get into some cheeky places in some GMs. We've also got mad uptime with that grapple. We can use this to traverse large expanses. It's very handy in strikes like the Light Blade, where we've got to cross that marsh and we're all slowed down. Throw in that blink and ascension, it's absolute nuts. You do however need to reset the grapple by touching the ground briefly. With our tether, I initially saw tons of hype around that Spirit of Galanor feeding us back tons of super energy. It's good, yes, but I don't feel it's as strong as the Orpheus rigs. They definitely worked more immediately than the Spirit of Galanor. Head to head, if the Orpheus rigs gave you 100%, the Galanor would probably give you 85%. Now that aside, we do have some great options to pair with the Galanor to offset that small performance difference. Falcons was one of the easiest choices out there. It's been a classic in the Void kit for a long time. This gives us volatile rounds to our Void weapons for 8 seconds when we come out of our invisibility. I dig it, even more so on Prismatic. When we use that Stasis Executioner, we go invis by killing a debuff enemy. Now obviously volatile is going to be our main source of this. This naturally blends in seamlessly with that tether, but we do have other melees, grenades and aspects that can help us slip into the shadows. So for my money, Spirit of Galanor and Spirit of Falcons is the way to go, but I can't ignore the power of that 1-2 punch setup. Using grapple, Spirit of Syntho, 1-2 punch shoddy, Stasis Executioner, tether, and then in the artifact we got Void Hegemony and Shield Crush. This combo, as impractical as it is, goes from 40k to around 1.5 million. As cool as this is, it doesn't really vibe with a lot of encounters. Now, our Arc Blades are going to attack thrice. It does 480k in 6 odd seconds. With the Star Eaters, we can do 816,000. For maximum damage, we can push that another 10% higher when we debuff our targets with a Strand or Stasis debuff. Now 900k damage may beat up a boss, but with that 3 attack structure, it left a little to be desired. After orb farming here to get those 6 orbs for my Star Eater scales, My super attack still could not one-bang a stunned champion in a legend Nightfall. It still requires the 2 strikes. So I recommend you go Galanor. It gave me 6 supers compared to the Star Eater's 3. And I was still able to 2-bang those champions even in Grandmaster level encounters. Pair it with either Synthos or the Liars with some hands-on, and then you can get your supers back in around 20 odd seconds. I kinda do wish the super done a little bit more so you could get that 1-bang, but I kinda understand why they can't make it much stronger. Our Chill NATO obviously ain't all about that DPS with a measly 291k. Star Eater is going to bring that up to 470k, but what it does do is crowd control, and it does it great. It should be that first super thrown into the room. It'll pick up all the peons so we can focus on the big dogs. It's already got a great cooldown at 735, but with the Galanors we can have it back in 30 seconds whilst playing back. A super room, that's the dream. Generally I like to chicken shit it and play back. I'll pair it with the Spirit of Cedarachne to give us Woven Mail for 10 seconds when we throw out our grenades. I like the Swarm Nade with this kit as it can be both offensive and defensive. I hard recommend that Gunpowder Gamble aspect. It gives us TNT off the back of any debuff kill or solo weapon kill. At 6 stacks you only really need 2 to get that up. So during our Silence and Squall, it makes enough explosives to blast a railway. And these TNT sticks will also grant us Woven Mail from that Spirit of Cedarachne. Go Ruin, it makes those shatters and ignitions better. Cherry on top, use Dragon's Breath for a Mad Fire and Ice kit. Goldie, as most know, is the DPS GOAT. Our triple shot base hits at 350k. With Star Eaters this is roughly 615,000. This is pretty much matching our Nighthawk at 616,000. But the Nighthawk buys us around 2 seconds firing only 1 shot. And on top of that we get it quicker. To make our Goldies hit harder we use Facet of Dawn. This makes us radiant for 5 seconds when we melee. This buffs our weapon damage, aka our Goldie damage. If used with a darkness melee, Facet of Courage will buff it a further 10%. So why pick Star Eaters over the Nighthawk? Short answer is we got Spirit of Foe Tracer. This gives us a tier 4 surge. That's better than the maximum tier 3 that we can put on our kicks. We get it for 10 seconds when we use an ability on a yellow bar. The good thing with Prismatic though is we aren't locked down into a certain surge. We can mix and match with our abilities to match our weapons. Please note however, these surges don't cancel out, so the first ability hits, that tier 4 surge will be there for 10 seconds until it cancels, then we need another ability to do more weapon damage. I like using the Ascension aspect with the Szechuan Swords to drop mages. I can slip in a weaken and then go to town with a weapon like the Edge Transit, or grapple myself into a foe and then go to town with the Swordbreaker. There is some absolutely serious gaming capability with the Spirit of Foe Prismatic combo. Additionally, this frees up space on our legs so we can, run mods that will keep us healthier, or perhaps use some auto loaders to maximize damage. End of the day though, Nighthawk is easy. I would use it in places where that one phase isn't going to happen. If the one phase is on, Spirit of Foe Star is on. I've left a dim link for my builds in the description down below if any of them piqued your interest. If you come to a different consensus, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Prismatic has made some of these supers a lot more versatile. I'll definitely be using the Strand and Stasis supers a lot more going forwards. Make sure to thumb it if you dug it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy tie my damies, what a tie.